Hello students, today we will learn about gaseous exchange and its control. 7.1 Gaseous exchange and control in mammals. Here is the learning outcome that we will cover in this video. Gaseous exchange is the uptake of molecular oxygen from the environment and the discharge of carbon dioxide to the environment. When we inhale, the air will go through the nostril, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. Next, what is hemoglobin? Based on Campbell, hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment found in red blood cells. Hemoglobin is a conjugated protein that is responsible for transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide. It consists of 2 alpha subunits and 2 beta subunits, and each of them are attached to a heme group. These polypeptides are linked by hydrogen bonds with an iron atom located at the center of each heme rings. The iron atom will act as the oxygen attachment site. When hemoglobin binds with the oxygen, it will form oxyhemoglobin. Why do you think hemoglobin prefer oxygen compared to carbon dioxide? This is because when one oxygen binds to one hemoglobin, the other 3 subunits would change its shape. The concept that increases the affinity of hemoglobin toward oxygen is called cooperative binding. The partial pressure of oxygen plays a huge role in determining whether the hemoglobin has high affinity or low affinity towards the oxygen. Depending on situation, carbon dioxide can also bind with hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. Yay! We have finished! Thank you! Hello students, welcome back to Chapter 7, Gaseous Exchange and its Control. The learning outcome for today is to state the transport of carbon dioxide by hemoglobin and outline the oxygen dissociation curve for hemoglobin. Are you ready students? Let's start the lesson. Carbon dioxide is transported in blood in 3 different ways. 7% of the carbon dioxide released by respiring cells will dissolve in the blood plasma. Next, 23% of the carbon dioxide will combine with amino group of hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. Another remaining 70% of the carbon dioxide is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions or hydrogen carbonate ions. Did you know what is oxygen dissociation curve? This curve shows the relationship between percentage of oxygen saturation of hemoglobin at different partial pressure of oxygen. The sigmoid shape of the oxygen dissociation curve is a result of the cooperative binding of oxygen. During cooperative binding, as the number of bound oxygen molecules increases, the apparent binding affinity also increases. Both myoglobin and hemoglobin can act as oxygen carrier. However, myoglobin have higher affinity toward oxygen. Hemoglobin consists of 4 polypeptide chains with 4 heme groups, meanwhile myoglobin consists of single polypeptide chain with 1 heme group. The oxygen dissociation curve for myoglobin shows that it is at the left compared to oxygen dissociation curve of hemoglobin. This is because only when the partial pressure is very low does the myoglobin release oxygen. Oh no, we have come to the end of the lesson. I hope you will enjoy this video. Thank you for your attention.
Hi everyone. Now we continue to the role of chemoreceptor in control breeding. Let's go through to the mechanism how is breeding controlled. First of all, the chemoreceptors in the cardiac bodies and aortic bodies are sensitive to small changes in the concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood. When the carbon dioxide level increase, chemoreceptors in cardiac bodies and aortic bodies of the blood system are stimulated. They transmit impulse to the inspiratory center. The inspiratory center transmit out nerve impulse pass along the phrenic nerve to the diaphragm and via thoracic nerve to the external intercostal muscle. It will cause the diaphragm and external intercostal muscle to contract. Inspiration take place, increase the rate of contraction will increase the rate of inspiration. Both action increase the volume of thorax and air will enter to the lung. The lung will expand. As the lung expand, the stretch receptor in their walls detect inhalation and are stimulated. The stretch receptor transmit impulse via vagus nerve to the expiratory center, and this expiratory center will inhibit the inspiratory center. After that, expiratory center transmit impulse via nerve to the internal intercostal muscle, the internal intercostal muscle contract, the diaphragm and external intercostal muscle will relax. Inspiration take place. This event reduces the volumes of thorax. The lungs are not longer stretched and stretch receptors are not longer stimulated. The expiration center become inactive and inspiration will begin. Now we look at the regulation of the stomata opening and closing based on the starch-sugar hypothesis. There are two situations in this hypothesis. First, during the day, photosynthesis will occur. The concentration of carbon dioxide will decrease and the pH rises. When the pH rises, it makes starch will convert into sugar or into glucose 1-phosphate. As we know, sugar is soluble in water, so it's make possible the water potential of the gut cell decrease. Water will flow from subsidiary cell to the gut cell by osmosis. The gut cell turgid and stomata or stoma will open. In the second situation, during the night, no photosynthesis occur. The concentration of carbon dioxide will increase, pH drop. It will make the glucose 1-phosphate or sugar convert into starch, and the starch is insoluble in water, so it will make water potential in the gut cell increase. Water will flow out from the gut cell to the subsidiary cell by osmosis. The gut cell will flaccid and stomata will close. So that's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you and bye-bye.